All right, good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. This meeting has been advertised with, as per the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-8. And it's publicly accessible in accordance with law. Roll call, please.
Sure, Kevin,
Here.
Rocco.
Here.
David Cittadino. Dr. George.
Here.
Mayor Henry. Sarah. Marina.
Here.
Maria.
Here.
Rosemary. Esty.
Here.
Zainab. And Frank Weber.
Here.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. Let's pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
and to
to
the
the
republic
republic for which you stand,
one nation, under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We do have a couple of items to go into executive session for that we'd like to discuss first. So before we get on with the regular portion of the meeting, we will do our executive session now. So members of the public, we will place you back into the waiting room. I apologize for that, but then we will bring you back once we are out of executive session.
Need a motion
I'll make the motion
Sorry, motion. Thank you.
for
Rocco.
executive session
Second,
for personnel.
for personnel.
do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, thank you. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording. Okay, so let's
We're just
stop.
going into executive.
Well, hold on a second. We're going into executive session. Did you want to address? No, you can stay. Do you want to address
Yeah, I was gonna say.
anything first, or do you want to stick around? You can stick around. You can stay in.
You
Okay.
can stay in. You can ask to go to
Okay.
the president for exec session.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
So we have,
Wait, hold on, guys. You're still recording. You shut off the camera,
yeah, we did.
but you're still you're recording though.
We turned off the camera, but not.
Yes.
Oh,
Sorry. Let me turn on the video. Let me turn that on.
all right.
Can we say hello to Dawn? We interviewed her under the blackout, whatever you want to call that.
Hello, Dawn. Nice to meet
Hello,
you.
everyone.
Hi, Dawn.
Good to see you. This is
We have everyone back. Wait, we got one more still connecting the audio, so we'll give just another minute. Did you want to address? Or you just
Yeah,
did?
I can get out.
Okay. All right, well, we're still connecting the audio, so.
That's from the director.
Maybe.
Looks like that person may be having issues. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're gonna get moving with the public session of this month's meeting. I do have Mayor Owen Henry here with us this evening. Welcome, Mayor.
Thank you.
You wanted to address us?
Sure, I come with some good news, I believe, library. As you know, our township budget was presented to the council and adopted. I just wanted to bring the impact, what it means for the library. And it's very encouraging news. You know, this formula for library funding is now driven by a state statute through a formula, which I don't know. But the end result here in Old Bridge is that you're going to see an increase of funding to the library in the amount of $359,878. So your total allocation is $3.364 million. So you're getting a sizable increase. My only advice is to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
Investment is always good. But I think that is good news. Another good news, we had a very productive meeting today with Amboy Bank, and I'll let Kevin talk about that later in regards to the facilities down in the harbor. As you know, we are in the process of building a new facility, which is currently used by the library for unforeseen circumstances. So there's going to be a lapse in when probably up to 2, maybe 3 years. So we're in the process of securing a nice location, very close across the street from the old library building, the old Amboy Bank building.
Yeah.
And I'm very encouraged by what's being said, and I look forward to that transition. The old library building is going to be demolished, torn down within probably over the summer at some point in time. The building is just non-fixable, so it's got to go away. It's becoming an eyesore for the neighborhood. The planning board has approved the area of redevelopment, a study to be conducted. So there's going to be really good things happening in and around the new library facility and the one that we're going to be using. And my final comment is I want to thank everyone on the board for going through the process again of searching out for a new director and having it, because this is a great library. And I know Dawn, from what I heard, Dawn, you're going to be a great leader. And I look forward to working with you. My administration, I'm right across the parking lot. We look forward to working with you and programs and really getting the library back up and running again after COVID. So I just want to thank everybody for their efforts. If it was easy,
Yeah.
everybody would do it. But thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate everybody working hard, working together. And as a team, we can get a lot done, a lot done.
Yeah.
A lot of potential out there.
That's great news, man. And we do have a lot of projects between Lawrence Harbor and South Old Bridge and stuff too. So the additional funding will come in handy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
news. So if anyone has any questions for me regarding library issues or anything else, I'm used to it. This is good.
Okay.
Great to see everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so much,
everyone.
Mayor.
Oh, wait, we got someone raising their
Someone
hand.
raise their hand.
Hey, good evening. Thank you very much for letting me join the meeting. This is Jay Patel. I live in off Oakland Road here in Old Bridge. So we go to the library a lot, and even before the pandemic, even the moment it opened after pandemic, we've been there at least once a week. My kids volunteer there every week. But the question I had was the Idea Farm has been shut ever since COVID. And so I wanted to know when the Idea Farm is going to open up, because we really used to use the equipment there to do a whole bunch of stuff, from 3D printing to making t-shirts to all sorts of things. And, it's disappointing that it hasn't opened up yet. And I'd love to see it open up again. So, my kids can learn how to use the equipment. And of course, so I can use the equipment. It's just a really, really great resource. I just wanted to know when it was going to be opening up again.
Well, I have to defer that question.
Okay.
I don't have an answer for you, but maybe somebody on the board
So
does.
this one
I
we
too
were
enjoyed it.
specifically looking for questions in there, but so I'll just quickly address that. We do want to make sure that our library gets fully open and operational again. We have been going through an interim director, and he has done a fantastic job just getting us from the day that the director stepped away up until next month, when our new director will be coming on board. But that will be one of the priorities with the new director, is that we start looking at all the programming that we've had in the library and get moving forward with this stuff. So I hope that within the coming months, we will have a more definitive answer.
We're going to get this place.
Yep. Yep.
My nephew
Great, thank you.
asking me about it. I brought them here the other day.
Great. That's great. No, I agree. The Idea Farm is fantastic. I've used it a lot with my kids as well. So yeah. All right. So let's move on to
We're
the.
good?
I think Dawn,
Oh,
I believe
oh,
Dawn was trying to say
Anybody
something.
just trying to say
I
something,
thought it
Dawn?
was just giving me a wave.
Oh, okay.
But is this public comments? Are we in
No.
public
No.
comments? Oh, okay.
That was
Questions for the
questions for the mayor, but it drifted a little bit, and we
Yeah.
addressed two people's
Yeah,
questions,
sounds
so it's
great.
good.
All right. So we will move on to the
Okay,
agenda.
thank you, everybody.
Thanks, man.
Good evening, everyone. Bye-bye. Be well, be safe. Read a book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll work on.
and continue with the feedback because it's always good to know what the services that the public are looking for.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely try to stop by another time.
Great.
I don't think. Thanks a
I
lot.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm frantically making notes.
Already at work. Okay, let's move on to the minutes portion. Approval of the regular meeting minutes of March 8th. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I'll make the second.
I'll second.
We'll do A and B together? All right, we'll just do A and B together. Motion for A and B?
Motion.
SD second? Thank
Yes.
you. All right, any discussion on the minutes? Either regular or executive session? No, okay. Roll call, please.
Sure. Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
Yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Maria,
I have to abstain.
Rosemary. Yes. Esti,
Yes.
Zainab,
Yes.
Frank Weber,
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes. Thank you. Okay, moving on to personnel. I will break this up a little bit. So we will start with item A. One change to the agenda here. It will read, approve the appointment of Library Director Dawn Jenkins at the annual salary of $135,000 with a tentative start date of May 16, 2023, pending background check. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Weber second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Dr. George,
yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
Rosemary. Yes. Esti,
Yes.
Zainab,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Absolutely.
Rocco,
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes. Welcome, Dawn. Thank you very much, everyone. I'd like to just start by saying real quick that I want to thank everyone that was on the search committee. We put in a lot of hours. We also saved the library $17,000, just to let everyone know, because we wound up going out to an agency, and then when we found out that they were just going to post on NJLA and do a first round of review of the candidates, we said we could do that ourselves, and we did. And at my last count, and I think I received 1 or 2 more resumes, we were at like 19 resumes, and I sent every single one, regardless of the resume, to the committee members and asked them to review each and every one and come back with candidates that we should interview. And then we did a pretty large first round interview, whittled that down, did second rounds, and I really do feel that we came out with a very strong candidate. I welcome you, Dawn, and I thank everyone for their time and commitment to getting this done. Dawn, would you like to address the board or the public?
I absolutely would. First of all, I just want to say that I would like to thank the board. When I'm looking at a position, I'm critical myself of what the board brings to the search. And so I want to thank the board for their professionalism and their thoroughness in ensuring that this is a match of both professional and personal issues and considerations moving forward. I have been welcomed by board members in the search, just saying, hey, do you know that this is where our minutes are? Are you making sure that you're really aware of what's going on in Old Bridge? And I appreciate that so much. That shows me that people are really attuned to what's going on and what it's going to take to create a vision for the next phase of Old Bridge Public Library. I take the investment of a community very seriously. Libraries are such powerful and visionary places for civic engagement and information and all of those kind of things. And for anyone to invest their confidence in me that I can lead in that area is incredibly meaningful for me. So I will be working to make sure that I make you all proud. I will give you a quick story. when I went to Clark, New Jersey to become their director, there was a minor issue with the search firm because the search firm didn't put me forward to the board. And having seen their ad, I reapplied because, like I said, I take it very seriously when I make a commitment to a library. And we had a very long, very productive work relationship. So I'm really appreciative that you went with your instincts rather than that particular search. And I'm just hoping that you all will be comfortable knowing that my door is always open, hearing feedback and being engaged in the full community is, it's what I do. And I do have to say also hi to Phil, because you were such an incredible colleague in Union County. So it gives me great comfort knowing that you've been a part of this transition.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks, Dawn. I know the staff is looking forward to a full-time director, and it's a great staff, and you should really look forward to work.
I absolutely am.
Very good.
Okay, let's move on. Moving to item B. I guess we'll do item B. Leave of absence for employee 1451. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Oh, any discussion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Sure. Sarah,
Yep.
Maria,
Yes.
Rosemary? Yes. Esty,
Yes.
Zainab,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
Yes,
and Kevin.
Yes. Okay. Moving on to the next item, item C. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Thank
I'll
you.
second it.
Any discussion? Okay, roll call.
Maria,
Yes.
Rosemary? Yes. Esty,
Yes.
Zena,
Yes.
Frank Weber,
Yes.
Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
Yes,
and Kevin,
Yes.
and Sarah.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we will go with items D and E because they appear to be related, obviously. So do I have a motion for D and E?
Weber move.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Rosemary? Yes. Esty,
Yes.
Zena,
Yes.
Frank Weber,
Yes.
Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George? Dr. George?
yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Kevin.
Yes, thank you. Okay, finance, the bill listing. I'll pass that one to Maria. Maria, would you like to make a motion on that?
Yes. I reviewed all the bills and everything was in order, so I approved the bill listing for $224,653.72.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Weber will second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Esty,
Yes.
Zena,
Yes.
Frank Weber,
Yes.
Rocco,
Yes.
Dr. George,
yes,
Sarah,
Yes.
Maria,
Yes.
and Rosemary. Yes. And Kevin.
Yes, thank you. All right, moving on to old business. Frank, any update on outreach survey?
No, not at this point, Kevin. I should be able to get you something for in the next week or so.
Great, thank you. All right, I will give a quick update on Lawrence Harbor. So as the mayor mentioned earlier, we did have a quick meeting with Amboy Bank today. So they are going to do a few items to the facility before we take it over. I had Phil scan in the document and send it to everyone. They mentioned that the tele lines should be removed. What the issue was when we met with them, they were first under the impression that it was going to be about 6 months, year tops. And I came back and said, no, I think it's gonna be at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. So they wanted to go back and give it some thought. And then they said, being that it's going to be a little bit longer term, they really want to make some adjustments to the building first. Removing tele lines, they want to set up a closet for their own access to the ATM, where only they can get that access, obviously, to the ATM. So they're going to make those changes to the building. And they want to lock the vault for safety reasons, which, although when we did look at it, looked really cool and would be great for children's story time until the first child gets locked in. We have a little bit of an issue. So I agree with their safety concern there. So they will be taking care of those items. They will be assigning someone from Amboy Bank specifically to work with us. They will get us full access to the building at some point. I hope that it's, sooner rather than later. I did mention today that I would love to have that available for us to be running programs at the end of June when the summer camp starts, so that we can be out of that park and rec building. And so that is really our target. Will that happen? I hope so, but I don't know. Chris, they will be drafting up, he will have their lawyer or legal department or whatever draft up a usage agreement.
Okay.
I will then send it to you,
Good.
and then we'll have further discussions on that.
Good.
Okay. And that's essentially it. We will have to obviously get phone lines and internet and those types of things, secured there, and insurance and so on. But and then the other agreement is that the library will be responsible for day-to-day of the facility and other issues after they've completed all those other items that are on this list that you can follow. So when we take over that building for the next 2 years or whatever it might be.
Just a clarification, Kevin, the last thing on the list that Phil put together says banks can't be landlords. Are we going to be paying them any form of rent?
We are not going to be paying them any form of rent. So that was the point that they had brought up. It seems to be a law that a bank cannot make more money than the person that they're leasing the facility to. So being that we are not a profitable organization, they can't be charging us rent. I don't know if that means, to be honest with you, that we'll probably be paying utilities maybe. I mean, obviously we'll be paying for our own phone, I assume electric and gas as well to heat the building. But outside of that, they cannot be charging us rent. So we will not be paying rent there. It is a loan from the bank until we are ready to move into the new facility.
And the other thing that should be possibly considered, if the mayor has expressed a desire to knock down the old library building, and it's given its proximity to the bank being right across the street, that should be considered as a parking lot for the library, the temporary library. And then as the facilities expand, when the permanent thing is done, those extra parking spaces can be used. As you know, that's very crowded between people coming down to play basketball, go to the beach and all of that. So converting that to parking space would probably be a benefit to the library's operation and everybody else that's going to use the combined building and what's there with the beach.
Okay, good point. I mean, we'll certainly raise that to them. The one thing we did mention today is, once they have that facility cleaned up, so Phil and I were in the old library the day, and Esty as well, the day that we went down there to see it. And there's still a ton of stuff in there just as the day that we closed the doors. So most of that stuff, I think, is going to have to be trashed. There is some stuff that is salvageable, such as some tables and chairs that don't have any fabric on them, that could probably be cleaned up when we get like a Serve Pro or someone in to clean the building. They could do that as well. And then we'll take out what we want, and the rest will have to be just dumped, and then the building is going to be demolished. So that's all coming this summer. So that's going to be, within a few weeks, few months at the best, and we have to get all that cleaned out, done.
And who does that, like that actual labor? Do we have like library staff do that, or do we do that?
I would hope that Public Works would assist with some of that,
So-
because some of the shelving that's in the branch that's closed would need to be moved to the bank.
So, so we
Yeah.
did mention that today. We did mention that today to the mayor, that we would need a Public Works assistance. particularly with getting the stuff from the rec building over to the new facility. And then obviously any items that we're taking out of the old library building into the new building. And then I guess, I don't know who's gonna be, if we're gonna put all that stuff, like any books or DVDs and stuff that we're not using into a dumpster.
I don't know.
We'll have to
I
figure
think
out.
we have enough money to hire people to do it when you.
Probably should
I should do that sooner because
You're talking about stuff that we closed because it was full of mold. I mean, do you want people
It's-
installing that and
No, yeah, right. We could probably get one of those, junk guys removal
Yeah.
places or something.
get somebody who does that stuff?
Yeah.
Sure. We have money for whatever we need.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you'll need help to move the hard surface stuff you can use.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
All right,
And the shelving can't be moved until the books are removed off the
Right.
shelf, so
Yeah.
it's a process.
Yeah. But that's where we are at this point with Lawrence Harbor. So that's my update there. Anybody have anything else for old business or any items for new business?
Yeah, I'd like to know where we are with contracts. Are we moving along to get them digitized and so that we can look at them?
So Maria, do you want to provide an update? I know you were looking at them with Irene, is that correct?
Yes, I worked with Irene on the list, and the list has been all put together. And I don't know if she gave it to you, Phil. Did she give it to you to look at?
Yeah, I have it. We would have to send them out to be digitized. They don't have they're all in PDF form at this point, but to get them digitized, we would have to send them out.
I think we have to look at how we're handling them. We're putting them in a drawer somewhere or what, I don't understand it.
Put it in a
But
file.
I don't think we need to go into it tonight. I think that's a meeting. I really want to understand when you need a contract, who needs a contract, and I'd like the citations I can read. So I can read administrative code if we need to, but we don't need to do that tonight, as long as we're moving along. You gave us a list, I believe, with about 13 on there, and there were 2, 4, 5 that were not up to date. I assume we're moving along with those.
Yes, it's a question, it's not necessarily a question of asking for them. It's a question of receiving them.
I don't want them. I just want them in a file.
I don't mean you, Joan. I mean getting them from the company.
Well, that's what I need to understand. If we need to have a contract to have someone work for us, we should have them now.
Okay,
I
well,
mean, are you paying people that we don't have any agreements with?
part of it is they self-renew.
I'm sorry.
Part of it is that they self-renew unless they're canceled. And all that changes from year to year is an hourly fee or the labor costs. And so they're up to date that way. The work that the contractors perform doesn't change. So those terms remain the same. It's a question of what their charges are. And that's really all that changes for a lot of them from year to year.
Well, I don't agree with you, but let's not discuss it tonight. And we'll do it sometime in the future and get it so we understand it. Chris has already said that the public has the right to look at contracts, so I'm exercising my right. So we'll take care of it. We don't have to do it tonight.
Joan, keep in mind that I also said that you can have a contractual relationship that's evidenced by vouchers and a bill list. So you are not in a bad place right now.
Okay.
We can continue the process, but you are on solid legal ground with your vendors.
Okay, well, we can have a special meeting. I think we need a workshop anyway. We've asked for this for a couple of years now on several things that we haven't explored in depth, but that's for the future. The only thing I had that I am asking about, in the interest of transparency, I think our meetings could be on the YouTube, just like the planning board, the board of ed, blah, blah, blah. But then I got a question that was way beyond what I had asked for and had moved for. I don't care if we never go on the council, on our cable pages. That isn't what I was looking at. I was looking at it using the experience of having the Board of Ed, the planning board, the zoning board, the council, have their meetings on YouTube. So if I'm not available at 7 o'clock on some night, I can look at it tomorrow.
Joan, I'd like to stop you there. Joan, I'd
The
like,
library should be there too.
it is on YouTube now, as of the last meeting, and I sent it out.
My one question was when to have them posted, because I was confused because the minutes are not posted until after they're approved at the meeting. And I didn't want to have the video of the meeting out there before the minutes were approved. That would seem to defeat the
But
purpose.
the minutes have nothing to do with our regular meeting.
Well, that was my
Read the
question.
minutes out loud.
So that doesn't, right, so.
Just look up the Board of Ed meeting.
Put it up, we could put it up immediately. The only thing that I said that I would like to do is have someone review to make sure that
Yeah.
executive session is not
Right.
included.
Yeah.
That we definitely paused through that, and so on, and that there was no personnel discussions that.
Right, I just had that question. I raised it and,
There's no problem.
okay, I didn't get a formal response, so.
But I
tomorrow I'll
believe
have it
it's out
posted.
there on YouTube, last
Yes,
month's meeting.
yes,
I was sent the
Right.
link and it was there, yeah.
Well, I think it was taken down because I wasn't sure how,
Maybe it was taken
It was
down, but it
taken
was
down.
out there at one point. It's
yeah,
not,
it
All
was
right.
taken down because of
so
that
we will
question.
have last month's, it'll go back up and we will, and it is the plan for the meetings to be there going forward. And we will talk at some point about updating our website and getting the link posted to there as well.
Yeah,
That's
we can do,
next steps as well.
once it's up
Yeah.
on the YouTube
Yeah.
channel, we can put a link up from our webpage.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
not difficult.
okay.
Joan, the other issue, Joan, is that it's not being recorded by the township. We're having a Zoom call. So it has to be cut, executive session has to be cut out, and then it has to be posted after. It can't be live streamed.
We don't
Okay.
record the executive session, and Zoom makes a tape.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, so that's exactly what we're doing, Esty. We are recording the meetings, we're pausing it during the executive session. My concern was there will be times where somebody forgot to press pause or whatever, and we may need to edit it. The township has told us that they can edit it for us if we need be. So we will take those steps before we ever ask the township to post.
Right. No, I was just saying to Joan's point, like if she misses a meeting to see it the next day, it might not be as simple as that because it's Zoom versus being recorded by the township. That's all I meant.
but it is, okay, and I didn't bring the township into it. I don't know who does it. Board of Ed obviously has their minutes up there. The council meeting, I've gone and looked at that a week later and I can see what's happening. We'll get it done. But I just think the important thing is for us to be transparent to the citizens of Old Bridge. So many people have no idea what the library could offer and where it is and what it does. And I think we need to work on that. And I think the outreach committee is trying to gather information to see about the people who don't come to the library. What do they want to see? And we'll get there, but it will take time. And I think that Dawn has some very good ideas because she told us about them in the interviews. And so we'll get there.
Yep, okay. Anything else? All right, let's go to director's report.
Just some things I brought up in my written report. I had sent out a email to, I guess it was outreach or whoever would handle the meeting room policy. I got a phony request to use the meeting room for a birthday party. But I've had in the past, in other positions, that type of legitimate request. And there are some things in the policy that would make it difficult for someone to do. So I'm suggesting that the meeting room policy be amended, as I said in my report, so that it can't be used for birthday parties or celebrations or other types of similar functions. And just put that in the policy so that it's very clear.
What do you mean by phony request?
It was a phony request. It wasn't legitimate. I responded to it and the request just got kind of outlandish.
So it's just someone playing a joke is what you're saying.
Yeah, Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Anybody have any questions or comments on the director's?
well, we'll
report?
have,
Oh,
there's
you
some
have
other things, but I don't
items.
know
Oh,
if you
sorry.
want to vote to do that, or if you should do that. I just think it
Well,
should be in there.
Well, wouldn't that need to go to policy committee?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, it would.
okay. What did I thought, okay, I thought I had emailed it out. And then, PC Visions is continuing to work on the computer issues. Some new hubs came in today, and Elaine will be able to connect those, but there's a 48 port switch that needs to be replaced that's going to impact the entire library. And it's going to take, the estimate is a half a day. However, that was the time frame I was given. So it's a question of whether or not this work should be done off hours or close the library and get the work done during the day.
Does this come under any requirement for bidding?
No, it's a professional services contract. from
But it's under the $17,000, $500 threshold.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
All
it's,
right, I didn't hear the amount. I'm sorry.
right, but regardless, that's a decision that's going to be needed to make,
Something to be considered is, how many hours are we open now on Sunday? 4, 5?
Yes.
Five.
Yeah,
So we could possibly extend the Saturday before a Sunday. And that way it could be done in daylight hours on Sunday with the library closed. And if you extend the Saturday hours a couple of hours, you can still accommodate some additional passport people that would miss the opportunity that weekend. Because that's the shortest day we have in the calendar is on Sunday, I believe.
yes,
So, if you expanded Saturday with proper advertising and advertise for passports, you maybe not lose that day's business so much.
Does working on a Sunday affect this company's costs?
no,
It won't?
no,
Does
No,
Monday work on
but-
Sunday?
but we're gonna have to get staff people in on Sunday. Open up the building on de-alarm it. He requires at least one staff person to work with him. So, when we look at the costs for PC Visions, there's a lot of times more than the costs that they charge because there are internal costs also with them. So then it's a question of making sure we have staff that can work those extra hours on a Saturday. So it's going to take to do that's going to take a while to plan because staff's going to need to know they're going to need to work those extra Saturdays, or if they can't work, schedules will have to be shifted. So that's something that's going to take a little bit of planning, which is fine. I'm just saying it's not something that can be done. Okay, we're going to do it in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, repair of the lights. I received one quote, which just seemed outrageous to me. I'm waiting for a second quote from another electrician. So once I get that, if it seems reasonable, we'll move forward on it. If not, just trying to find electricians willing to come into the building to actually look at the lights instead of analyzing what needs to be done by taking a picture and emailing them to us is difficult. So we'll see how that goes, but a not to exceed price of over $18,000 to repair the lights just seemed way too much. And okay, we talked about posting the videos. So that's all I have to add to the written report, unless there are any questions about that.
Well, the only thing, if the first one's $18,000, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're gonna have to go out for a bid.
Right.
well, it's still, yeah, for the if it's electrical work, yes, you would have to
Yeah.
bid that and alternatively look for more quotes.
Yes, yeah. You know, you think there's a ton of electricians out there. People aren't calling back. It's just, I'm glad they're busy.
Do you contact like local guys or is it like a special group?
No, local companies.
Have you called NOR?
Have I called who?
NOR, KNORR. He's an
No.
Old Bridge guy.
No, I will.
Many people use them. They have a very good reputation.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Okay. It's another one. I will reach out to them tomorrow.
Have you contacted the Board of Ed and see who they use?
No. No.
We have our own electricians.
I would think
We
you have
have
that
our own
in-house.
electricians, Joe.
And external stuff would be well above those numbers because it'd be project-based.
And I believe, don't we have the equipment to raise them up all the way to the lights on the ceiling as part of, when the library is built, that it's in the possession of the township? So I don't know if these people you're getting quotes from realize we may have equipment available that can be, they don't have to supply.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know anything. When you say equipment, I'm talking, we're talking ballasts and sockets and things.
No, that's material. I'm talking about the ability to get up to those lights that are 30
Oh,
feet.
no, they just need ladders. It's not, they're the suspended lights that are in the building. They're not, you can reach them from a ladder. That's not the issue. It's the time and materials. That's where that's where the cost were from. There's no special equipment to reach the lights that we need. So, okay, I'll reach out to the NOR Electrical. So, no, that's all I have.
Okay. Anyone?
Yeah, I just want to mention something on the statistical report that Phil put together. Tutor.com, which is not cheap. They've had, so far, they've had 12 users this month and a total of 15 for the 3 months to date for the year. Now, BrainFuse, on the other hand, has had 384 cumulatively. And one of the big differences is that BrainFuse can go down into the lower grades. So we seem to be getting a better response from the lower grades than we do in the upper grades. And I think BrainFreeze covers the same ground as Tutor. So we should consider either we're not promoting Tutor.com or the kids in the older grades are not going for it. Given the learning loss that's going on throughout the state and the country, whatever we can do to encourage and advertise for BrainFreeze and absorb any additional costs we have, especially since we have $300,000+ coming our way, should be something that's in front of everybody every day. So they can get the opportunity to try and get their kids back to where they need to be. That's so difficult for two-parent families to do. So I think it's something to go after. And consider getting rid of Tutor.com if they're as expensive as they were in the past.
The statistics were interesting to read, but what I would like to see is a recommendation from the director or somebody on what you do with statistics like Tutor Time with 6 people using it. The visits to the museums. We had one person use a museum pass. And we're spending like a lot of money. I don't know what the total is, but I know some of them were $300-400 and we have nobody going to them.
You
Or
probably
is that just January and February? Did we not have March? I'm looking at what you sent me, but I want to know what the suggestion is.
Do more people do that stuff in the summer?
Well, some of it is like the Intrepid people wouldn't necessarily go. It's an outside, part of it's an outside exhibit. You wouldn't necessarily go there in the colder weather. And a lot of the issues that the library is having is lack of promotion of items. And, I've mentioned in the past that What's really needed is someone on staff who does publicity or marketing. And it's essential to have that.
Yeah, and this is all gotta come down to this social media person. We need to start to promote this stuff, social media and other places of things that are available, resources available at the library, whether it be tutor.com, whether it be museum passes. You know, every day we should have a social media post out there that's promoting all of this stuff. Sure.
Yeah, I promote like on Old Bridge residents a lot of the activities, like the bigger events and stuff like that. But obviously that's just me as a resident doing that. But yeah, I would love once Dawn comes in, I'm sure she's going to be all over that, promoting it or finding someone to handle that. I think a lot of it is just, you know, moving to the new director, and Phil can only do so much with the time he has. I think he's doing a great job, and I think all the information he's getting is going to really help us move forward.
Well, I think we could also look at some marketing majors that are senior in college who are looking for part-time work. It'd be, you know, possibly you could have 3 or 4 of them, and obviously they should have a higher skill level than not having anyone. And it may be beneficial to both them and us as a library. We can get more done by having 2 or 3 part-time seniors who
Well,
are
Frank, we
working toward
also,
marketing.
these
degree.
museums are not new. We've gone to those in the past. We've asked, we have the visitation statistics for those. We haven't gotten them. So I don't know. I think we have a challenge for you, Dawn. You'll handle all of this, I'm sure, fine. But that outreach group, you know, the whole idea of a survey was to find out what the people who don't use library services would like to have. And they may not want to go to these museums. I don't know, but let's find out what ones they want to go to. I've also, I don't know if we communicate with other libraries, but I've heard that some of them have canceled the museum program. It's too expensive. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
They're saying that they like the
So
museum.
I think the Museum Pass program is a phenomenal program. I have to admit that the first time I used it, which was many years ago, it was before COVID, obviously. I only knew about it because I was on the board and I had heard about it. So what is this? I never heard of this. Came up at a meeting, and I started using them, and they're fantastic. And I started telling neighbors and friends, and people were shocked that they can get free museum passes at the library. So I just think it's a lack of communication and a lack of marketing. And I think that this just proves the point that we really need to have one of our priorities is got to be on marketing and outreach. And I think what we need to do, we have a new director coming in May. I'm going to be asking everyone on the board to provide me their priorities. We're going to have the executive board sit down with the new director when she comes on, and we're going to say, these are the items that we really want to start to focus on day one, right? And then a little bit later is these items. And then, of course, she will take a look at the library and she will give us her recommendations for what needs to be improved. But I think that these are some of the things that we really need to hit on. Great. Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
So,
As I said, no, I don't have any of it.
that's it?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so we will continue these discussions, I believe, in the very near future. So let's move on to committee reports, buildings and grounds. Rocco, anything?
Other than the light situation, which we already discussed, that's all we have for now.
Okay. Finance. So finance, I will go to Maria, but I do know that we have the budget coming up that needs to be addressed. Would also like to put that on hold until the new director comes on. I think that that's something that the new director should be looking at. Maria, I will defer to you as chair.
Yeah, that's what I would like. I would like Phil put one together. I would like him to give it to Dawn, let her look it over, and once she looks it over, we could have the finance committee can meet with her.
Great. Anything else for finance, Maria?
No, everything else is okay.
Frank, outreach marketing. I know you would mention on the survey that you'll have something.
Yeah, well, I'm not quite sure. after the survey has been done, and it's been done without going after people who are not using the library now. So I think, I'll be happy to review it, but, it's a little dubious as what's going to come out of that. But I don't agree with the basic premise of the survey.
Okay.
I think that though, one of the things that we should consider doing, we have ways of finding out who is not registered in the library. Just a matter of crossing the voting rolls. And that's going to tell you when people move to town. It's going to give you an idea of, because you got a birth date, you'll be able to tell how old they are. And if they're not members of the library, and that's even if you hire some part-time college kids, just to compare those lists, you can come up with a list and get some package into their hands explaining all the benefits that the library has to offer them. Even sending them an email if possible, if not, sending them a postcard. And then if you can stay on top of it, as they move in, especially to new construction where they tend to have younger children, that's, I think, the way to actually get their interest and just to grow the number of true members that we have.
Thanks, Frank. And on outreach, anything on South Old Bridge?
Well, I got to have a sit down with the mayor and find out if he doesn't have any objections, or the township doesn't have any objections. But it's wonderful to hear that there's $300 and close to $50,000 more in state aid. That will make it certainly a lot more viable financially. And it is located in the 2 wards that are showing the greatest growth in town, and will be certainly for the next 10 or 15 years. You're not really going to grow out in much in Ward 1 or Ward 3 and Ward 4 for that matter. So it's pretty much going to come in 4 and 5, 5 and 6 rather. So I think it's a good location. It solves a lot of the traffic problems for people getting there and getting home because of all the bottleneck you have on 516 and Englishtown Road. So we should be in a good position for it with this additional state aid. So I'll try and get an appointment with the mayor this week or a good phone call, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Frank. Okay. Personnel negotiations, Dr. George, anything?
Yeah. First of all, I think the personnel committee has to be reviewed. Is there a way that we can have 5 people on it? Because it concerns me that the people on the committee are me, Maria, and Frank, and Esty, Sarah. They should be on it. Somebody that's new to this should be on it, not only the 3 of us and Kevin. Is there a way you can have 5 people on it?
Yeah, you can have as many people on the committee as you want, but you would then have to sunshine it, and it would have to be accessible to the public. Committee meetings then become board meetings.
I don't think that's a big problem because a lot of the personnel issues would be, self-contained anyway. But I really think that committees ought to reflect the board a little better than just having the old people on it. No offense to you, Maria and Frank, but I really think that.
Oh, why is it an offense to me? I'm younger than some of the other board members.
Yeah, you're young and I am, but so is everybody. But anyway, am I alone in my thinking, or Esty, Sarah, Rosemary, do you think one of you, Saban, would be on the personnel committee?
I mean, I'm willing to be on whatever committee, I can. I made it clear to Kevin that I wanted to learn about every part of the library. I don't know much about personnel, but I'm definitely willing to learn.
Well, I appreciate that. And I think that whoever is on it, that's Kevin's choice. I don't know. But I really feel that somehow we have to tell you why we did things, because there are things you look at and you don't know why we did it that way. And it may have been a valid reason, it may not, but at least you would know that we're not all crazy. So Kevin, let me know what you think about that.
Okay.
Now,
well,
as far
why
as
don't you just
what
say this,
purpose-
anyone that has any interest that's not on the personnel committee, let me know if you have interest, and then I will speak to Dr. George, and we will talk about making changes to the committee. But Chris, you had mentioned as well that we obviously need to sunshine it. I know that, but it needs to be publicly accessible. But for personnel negotiations, most of those items would be.
Right, you would open the meeting and then
Just go into
a lot of it
session.
would be an executive session.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
really just a procedural hurdle.
Right, okay.
So is that for 5?
It's 5+.
Five
yes.
plus.
You know, as far as negotiations and things, the state we're in now, you have to realize that was never our intention. Our intention was to have personnel meetings the end of last year and to talk about hiring new people. We put 2 departments together and we were going to reorganize that. Well, we never could get everybody together to have a meeting. And I'm not talking about the committee members. So that needs to be done, all right? If putting the youth and the adult together was a mistake, we'd need to undo it. We had to be able to talk and to make changes, you know, and it just can't be a little group, I don't think. So it's our intention to meet, to organize staffing, to do additions if we have to come up with something, and that it makes more sense than right now. And I really think that Dawn ought to be very involved in this because this is going to be her baby. And so let's give her time to catch her breath and find out what's going on. And then we will get the committee together and we'll meet.
You should get some rest and maybe take a vacation.
Well, I didn't hear you, but whatever. You don't want to quit, do you, Dawn? Anyway. All right, thanks, Kevin. That's it.
All right, thank you. So what's up next? Policy, Rocco policy, other than the one item that he had
Yep,
mentioned.
that's,
Yeah, okay,
and we'll save that for when
yeah,
when Dawn gets it.
perfect. Technology, Frank, anything?
Well, you know what's going on with PC Vision. And for the new people, we've had tech people, not so much contractors from the outside, but within the library, come and go for the most part. And we're finding out, unfortunately, that there's a lot of things which could have been done probably better if we had some better direction on the technology thing. So I think we're in a better position than we were 4 or 5 years ago. And with the continuing improvements, we certainly, one of the other things you need to keep in mind with this additional $335 or whatever it is, $1,000 a year, that means we are, by state law, we're not supposed to have an excess of money over 20% of what our operating budget is. So for example, we're usually about 3 million right now. So right now that means that we can have an operating excess of $600,000. When you add on this 300, that's going to be $660,000. At which time, at any time they choose to do it, the council can take that excess by state law. Now, we donated $1.5 million for the project in Lawrence Harbor. The only reason I mention that is we've had a very successful passport operation generating the excess. We're very fortunate that way. We're one of the, well, you know, a lot of towns like East Brunswick, they get $1 million extra from their town council. We don't get that for the library here. We've earned it on our own. So I'm saying while you're sitting with this money, let's put as much of it as we can to make needed, but needed, you know, improvements that we can possibly make. So it gets used for its primary purpose of improving the library, rather than have to worry about it being taken from us because we don't use it.
Okay. The only other item is director search, which can now be obviously removed. I don't have any other update. I provided that update, obviously, when we made the appointment. So that's all that we have left. I will ask if anyone from the public has any comments that they would like to make. If you do, just raise your hand or speak. No? Okay, with that, I will once again just say welcome, Dawn. Looking forward to working.
Sorry, there were some things put in the chat. I don't know if you wanted to say them out loud.
Well, I believe the chat items were along with some of the discussion. I know one of them was on the museum passes. And the feedback on the clubs that we have here that they enjoy. So thank you for
Right,
that.
okay.
And because as I mentioned, earlier, we love to get the feedback, want to know what programs are working well, do better. So that's good feedback. Thank you.
If I can just add, please know that absolutely nothing that we've discussed tonight deters me. It genuinely does not. There are a number of things that I've seen and I have solutions for and ideas already, and I'm really looking forward to working with all of you and to working with what I'm sure is our amazing staff who probably have similar considerations to mine, that we're gonna do this. It's good.
Great. Thank you.
Oh, and Dawn, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thanks so much, Phil. And sorry, just another big fan of Phil. I was in the union, when I was in the Union County Consortium, we all were. So I really appreciate that, Phil. I genuinely do.
You're more than welcome. Look forward to working with you that short time we have.
All right. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Okay, last call. Anyone else? There's a new message. Do we have a new message in the chat?
Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to say that the staff is absolutely fantastic and we love the librarians and the work that they do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chick. Okay. All right. With that, I will ask if someone would like to make a motion to adjourn.
Where move?
So we have Rosemary and Frank, one and two, however you want to go with it. All
Pretty-
in favor? Aye. Anyone
Aye.
opposed? No? Surprisingly? Okay. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Here.
Good night.
Bye.